Hi mamas, welcome back to S.U.R.E Parenting. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today, I wanted to talk about something that comes up every year in November, and that is the topic of gratitude. All of us want our kids to be grateful. We want to feel appreciated. We want our kids to not have a sense of entitlement. And most of us run into some struggles in this area, whether it's our kids with their never-ending wish list or seeming like we do so much and we're really not getting any appreciation for it. Most of us feel that struggle on some levels. So what I wanted to talk about today is how to instill that gratitude in your kids so that you can feel appreciated and your kids can start to recognize the things that they do have with a healthy balance for what they want in the future. So one of the things about gratitude is that it has to start with the parents. Like many things in parenting, it has to be modeled for our children. And most adults, they're stressed out. They're worried about bills. They're worried about their job. They're worried about all these different things, and they don't take the time to actively sit down and express gratitude for the things that they're grateful for. Now, does it occur to them? Are they grateful for their family and for their home and for their car? Of course they are. But are they sitting down and showing their kids how they actively practice gratitude? Most likely not. So when I sit down with a family to help them overcome some of the struggles that they're having, one of the first things that we do is we establish a family gratitude practice. When that starts, the first step is mom. Mom, for whatever reason, is the linchpin in all of this in almost every family. Obviously, there can be some exceptions, but for most, mom's the linchpin. So we encourage mom to sit down every day and write down 3 things that she's grateful for, even on the really sucky days. Some days it's really easy. Some days you are just immensely grateful. You had a great day. It's easy to come up with what you're grateful for. Some days aren't that easy. Some days it's a stretch, and that's okay. You are totally welcome to write things like, I'm grateful that my house didn't burn down today because it sure felt like it might, and that sort of thing. You are allowed to have those days. It's totally normal. And one thing that's interesting is that as this practice continues, you would fear that you'll run out of things. And the cool thing about gratitude is that gratitude begets gratitude. So you actually start seeing more and noticing more and finding even more to be grateful for. So much so that you will notice things at the grocery store, or you'll notice things while you're driving. And it is such a nice way to live where you are just noticing those positives all around you. That is the power of gratitude. And the same thing can happen with our kids. The difference with our kids is that gratitude is a really vague topic, and it doesn't have a strong sense that you can't see it. You can't feel it physically. It's not a thing you can hold in your hands. You can't hear it. Gratitude is elusive for kids. So we have to stair-step them to help them understand what gratitude is and to really embody it. And I have created a little stair step, so I'll pull that up so that you can see. So gratitude actively rewires the brain. We have to model it, practice it, and repeat to create the snowball effect, and the kids need a stair step to understand it. So this is my little stair step. The first step is to ask your kids about something good that happened. You can have your gratitude practice at bedtime. You can have your gratitude practice at dinner. You really can have it any time that you and your kids are together on a regular basis. So I would say to my kids, what's something good that happened today? And they might say, we played outside. Awesome. Well, in my home, my kids just got a play set. So I would take that good thing and I would make the connection to gratitude. It's nice to feel grateful for a new play set so that you can go out and play like that. The end. That's all you have to say. You're planting seeds. So the next step is, what was your favorite thing about today? Favorite is another one of those vague terms, but kids do start to understand that probably around age 3. They start having a favorite color. They start having other kinds of favorites. So, their answer might be the same every day. That's totally fine. Whatever they say, that is a really cool thing to be grateful for. And you just throw that word in. There is the next step, may there always be. So this is in reference to a book and a song. And it has to do with the reason that we're grateful for things is because those things may not always be there. And so when we talk about things that we're grateful for, oftentimes we're talking about big things, but sometimes it's the little things. So you say, your kid's feet are cold and you're able to grab them a pair of socks. And you say something like, may there always be socks. And they will look at you like you're crazy. And you say, well, think about it. What if there were no socks? What if socks didn't exist? We would have really cold feet, or our shoes would get really stinky, And you think about these little things in their life that they can be grateful for. May there always be pizza, because pizza is our favorite food. May there always be, sunshine. Actually, that's one of the lyrics of the song. And so you can listen to the song, you can read the book, or you can just do this at home and make a list of your very own may there always be's. So they can start to think about that concept of what they have not just being taken for granted. From there, you can start using the actual phrase grateful for. What are you grateful for? What am I grateful for? And then at the end of all of it, you have an understanding of what gratitude is. So that is the stair step for the gratitude practice with kids. And it's a really fun one to do. So if you have time, you can add to your 3 things a little short paragraph about your favorite part of the day. Because again, triggering that part of the brain that has those happy memories and those feel-good hormones, that's going to let you be in that headspace where you're able to write those things down a lot easier. When I do my gratitudes, I like to think for a few more minutes afterwards. Like, for example, I might have something that just pops up automatically. I'm grateful that my daughter is willing to sleep on a floor bed and, nap so that I can do this video. And so then I might think further, I'm grateful, like, what else about that situation am I grateful for? Well, I'm grateful that I learned about a floor bed. I'm grateful that I learned about Montessori, and I have this pressure-free way that she can sleep safely, and I'm not trying to force her into a crib, which she hates, and both of my other kids hate it, and some kids do, and so that one piece can really expand. As a matter of fact, because of that, I'm grateful for YouTube. I'm grateful that I can look up Montessori ideas. I'm grateful for Facebook, where I've met moms who introduced me to the ideas of Montessori. Just things like that. Like, one thing can lead to another, can lead to another, can lead to another. So that's one way to make your list if you're struggling. The other thing is the basics. Like I said about socks, just look around the room that you're in. There's something to be grateful for in that room. The cool thing about this is you start to actually change your brain, as I showed on that slide. And when you are actively changing how your brain responds to the world, you can then use that in those really stressful times. So when you are pulling your hair out and you're super, super frustrated, you can just close your eyes and mentally start making a list of the things you're grateful for. Maybe closing your eyes isn't for you. Look around the room and make a list. I'm grateful for electricity. I'm grateful that I was able to write a book. I am grateful that I have a laptop and a computer. I'm grateful that I have a camera. I'm grateful that I live in this house that has bright light coming through the windows. I'm grateful that we were able to move to this new location that makes us so happy. I am grateful that we have extra paint in the garage because I accidentally dinged the walls and I was able to just touch them up. Just looking around the room you're in, you can find things to be grateful for. And it is much, much, much harder when you are in a place of distress, of anxiety, of frustration, of stress. and who isn't, at least a little bit in a place of stress. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. So this is one of those things that I encourage everyone to do. And there's not a lot of things I can say that about because we are so unique and so different. But this is one of them. If you do nothing else to change your parenting, start a gratitude practice. It will change your attitude. It will change your children's attitudes. It will change the way that you see them. It will change the way that you interact with your significant others. It will change everything for the better. So I really like to have these conversations at the dinner table, and my husband and I will talk separately so that he can sort of prompt the kids, or I can prompt the kids on things that they really should be grateful for. We always make an effort to thank whoever cooked dinner. It's just a sign of respect. It's something that is so easy to take for granted, especially if one person is always doing the cooking. Then it's so easy to just assume that because that's normal, you don't really need to keep saying thank you. But as the person who's getting that thank you, it means something. It feels good to hear, thank you for making dinner. It's so simple. It's such an easy way to show appreciation. But when you model that, you remind your kids to not just take those things for granted. With the idea of entitlement, that always comes up. And there's a couple of ways to handle that. One, having a gratitude practice. Number one thing, because you balance that entitlement sense with the gratitude for those things. Two is to take away some of the stigma of the word. We've started to apply this to things like clothes and food. Your kids are entitled to clothing and food and shelter. Like that is a birthright. And so they're not entitled for asking for something. And knowing that and embracing that can be really helpful on your end. And letting them work for some things. You don't have to give your kid everything that they want, especially when it comes to the physical things, the toys and the games and stuff like that. And you don't have to shut them down to make sure they're not entitled. You can engage in that conversation with them. You can say to them, oh, that's awesome that you want this super expensive toy. What are you going to do to get it? And that's weird, right? But my 3-year-old saved $109 to buy himself the little car that you climb in and drive yourself because that's what he wanted. And it took him months, but it was such an empowering experience for him. So giving that back to your children and letting them work for things for themselves and opening your mind to what is possible. They might be able to get it by getting it from a grandparent. They might be able to get a financial donation from a friend or an aunt. They might find coins in the cushion. They might save their money that they got for a birthday or holiday. They might request, you know what, I would really like to abstain from the typical presents that I would get at this time and use that money towards this goal instead. That's creative financing. Encourage it. Don't take it personal. Sometimes we feel challenged because we take it personally because we have an idea of what we want. And it's okay to let them have that option. It is okay to encourage them to achieve those goals and to help them to find the gratitude along the way. To be grateful that we can take a picture because we have cell phones, or to be grateful that somebody invented this. How cool is that? Now you've planted the seed that they can invent things, that if they don't see exactly what it is they want, they can make something better. What a cool way to look at the world, You can achieve these different goals with your kids in a way that doesn't stifle their creativity or their want or their broad, bright thinking or their ability to see possibility in the future. And you can still hold those boundaries that maybe you don't spend exorbitant amounts of money on toys or whatever that might be. There's room for both. And I think that that's really powerful when you own that. So Gratitude practice starts with you. 3 things every day that you're grateful for. A little short paragraph, 3 sentences or so about your favorite part of the day. Do it every day for at least 28 days. Ideally, just every day. But after 28 days, you will actually have changed the wiring in your brain. For more information about gratitude, check out S.U.R.E Parenting, Building Blocks to Create Their Best Childhood. It is on Amazon and in paperback and Kindle. You can also join me on Instagram at S.U.R.E Parenting. We are doing a gratitude challenge all month long, and on Facebook in the group Empowering Moms to Uplift Kids. If you like this video, please share it on your social media so that other people can help instill gratitude in their kids and their family. And like and comment and subscribe. I would love to have you as part of our channel. Thanks so much for being here. Have an awesome day, guys. Bye.